All right, San Diego Sports 760, John Schaefer, Sammy Long, Westwood One's coverage of the NCAA tournament getting underway this afternoon on San Diego Sports 760 at 3:30. It is the first four from Dayton, Ohio. We were there a year ago, so the tournament will get underway. And Brian Dutcher, San Diego State's ninth-year head coach, actually heading into year 10 next season, will join us live at 2:30. And again, our pregame coverage will begin at 3:30. So a short show here this afternoon, but John Schaefer and Sammy Long with you. Let's start here, Sammy, because again, Dutch will join the show coming up at 2:30. Let's just start with the WBC because we're just a couple hours away from the final. We have now received official word that Mason Miller will be available. So he's available, although it is still tricky, I would say, and we can hear what Craig Stammen had to say earlier, but the latest from Mark DeRosa, who manages the WBC team, says this. He is available, although the direct quote is, "I'd like to avoid him, but the score will dictate it." And he followed up by saying, yes, he's available. And then he was asked, in a save situation, is he in? Yes, he's in. So I guess from a U.S. perspective, Sammy, yeah, I mean, like any baseball game, A, you want to win, but B, if you can do it convincingly, amazing. I mean, if you're up 8-0, you're not going to use them. But in a 3-1 game, and it's the ninth inning, I mean, how could you not have Mason Miller out there trying to win a championship?
This has really annoyed me with the WBC in that you have, I heard John Smols on, I forgot what show this morning, talking about it, about you feel like, and I've heard you bring this up before, if you did this in the middle of the season, if there was a 2-week break in the Major League Baseball season, maybe you scrap the All-Star game once every 3 years, you could do it. Because it's crazy that in this game, Scooble's not pitching because he had to go back to camp. And Mason Miller, Craig Stammen has been in contact with DeRosa about his pitch counts. Like, I get it. The teams are being selfish because they're looking out for their own interests. And the last thing they need is Miller or Scooble or Skeens or one of these guys getting hurt. But it is like, it's kind of crazy that in the championship game, and all we've heard from all these players, Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge talking about how this is a better vibe than the World Series. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to sell this thing like, make it like a World Cup, make it like an Olympics. And when in the final, there's going to be no more WBC after tonight. We're having conversations about Mason Miller's pitch count. It's a little frustrating to me that this is kind of a narrative around the WBC.
Completely agree. It's like there's a lot of cooks in the cookie jar or whatever, right? It's like, you know, at the end of the day, it either is what you want it to be or it isn't. Like, you can't say that it's a bigger deal than the World Series and it's on par with the Olympic Games or whatever else if you treat it like the Pro Bowl. So you can say something, but the actions speak louder than what you are saying. Do we have Craig Stammen, Brent, from earlier? Like, even in hearing Craig Stammen today, and this was not long ago, I think this was in the last couple of hours, he was very non-committal in terms of what's going to happen here with Mason Miller. And by the way, Mark DeRosa, again, it sounds like they don't want to use him. This was earlier today with the Padres manager.
They went great. Yeah, Mason's was feeling great yesterday. I haven't talked to him today. He'll evaluate how he's feeling today and then talk with Team USA and see if he's available.
If he feels good, what do you assume he would be available then?
Yeah, potentially. You know, they're the ones managing the game, and you know, we have a say in that decision, but ultimately they're trying to win a championship, and you know, we're all in that decision together and trying to make the best decision. We'll see what happens.
You know, like in the NBA playoffs, there's no load management.
Right. There's they're not,
and it's different.
Sitting Luka down. So like, we're going to take his minutes down tonight in game 6.
In the Olympic final for a gold medal, it's not, well, Curry, we got to talk to the Warriors. He's had a lot of, he's got a lot of tread in the tires. He's played a lot. So, we'd not like to not use him, but I mean, if we have to, it's just an odd line of discussion. Now, do we understand that these players are important to their major league teams? Of course they are. And pitching is a tenuous spot any pitch could end anyone's career, but that's also uncontrollable. We don't know if Mason Miller will never have a pitching injury as a Padre or have one tomorrow. I mean, it's completely out of everyone's hands. They didn't play yesterday.
Right.
So by baseball, typically if you're not pitching the day before, you'd be available. Again, a 7th game of a World Series, of course you'd be available.
It's just, again, if you're trying to sell the WBC as make it this big event that every 3 years is must-watch TV and everyone needs to get galvanized behind Team USA, you got to have the stars playing. And Mason Miller, certainly outside of Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal, has been a real storyline for Team USA. Not just, everyone here is Padre fans, but as people watching Mason Miller pitch is exhilarating. It's fun seeing how hard he throws. He's obviously got an opportunity to be one of the most dominant closers here the next few years. And it's just this conversation is kind of gimmicky, and it's a little like, if you were going to put caps on how many pitches these guys can throw, how many games they can throw, then why even send them in the first place? Like why are they even here? Because I guarantee you tonight, Venezuela, Placencia threw like 20 pitches last night.
Oh, he's throwing
tonight.
I mean, I would think
they've already, the team is trying to go, like Venezuela is throwing everything at this thing. And if the U.S. walks in here tonight thinking like, we're going to rest these guys. We're going to, like, are you really in the championship?
Yeah.
That's what we're going with.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's like, this goes back to what we had to say about Tariq Skubal. I'm like, well, why are you available against Italy or Israel or Great Britain or whomever, but then not available against the Dominican Republic? Or, for example, tonight in the championship game against Venezuela, because even as we crown a champion here, like tonight, someone's winning it, right? And it's Team USA or Venezuela, someone is crowned WBC champion in 2026. But I want to feel as if, and I want baseball fans to feel as if it's legitimate. Like, I don't want to say if the U.S. loses, well, I don't want to start it with, well, that's not fair to the event. But they're kind of putting that, now they're kind of putting us in that position. And I don't want to say that if the U.S. wins it in the same regard, well, Venezuela didn't really go at it 100%. They didn't really want.
They didn't have their full bullpen.
That's the worst thing you could possibly say about an event. Nobody's ever said about a gold medal match hockey, gold medal game basketball, like, yeah, U.S. won it, but France wasn't really going for it. I mean, that would take away that would take so much away from it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And again, when you're marketing this event, I'm excited for this game tonight. I think the last few games have been really exciting. And the fact that this is a real conversation about it, I'm with you. I don't want caveats on whatever team wins. That should not be a portion of it. Because if Venezuela wins tonight, they have put us in the, I mean, if Skubal was there, if Skeens were, if Skeens maybe didn't have to throw the other night, they would have him for an inning. And to the point about Skubal, that's why I thought Kershaw was on the roster, because Kershaw can, at his advantage, get through Israel. He can get through. I mean, Italy ended up not working out. They ended up scoring 8 runs, but you would have thought could get through that. You wanted Skubal and Skeens and everyone fully healthy for this game today. I mean, Nolan McLean, shout out to him, Mets prospect, but he's not some
the best pitcher in America for this moment.
Right, he's getting the ball in the championship game, and you have Skeens, you have Skubal, you have so many talented American pitchers available, and now we're hearing about they'd like to not use the most electric closer by far on the team. Just a little odd tonight that's kind of a narrative going into the game.
Yeah, there's just something about, and it's very specific to baseball, where like you play it, and to your point, we're not playing it in season, but we're kind of playing it out of Major League Baseball season, that there's already rules in place on top of everything we're talking about. There's already pitch limit modifications. There's already a lot of like tinkering and tweaking to make sure everyone stays healthy, which again, you would never do in another postseason tournament. You never say in the World Cup, you know what? Your players can only play 65 of the 90 minutes.
Right.
And you can play 2 out of 3 group stage matches, but you can't play all 3 because you got to protect their legs. Like basically in almost, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, in almost every other sport, you get to a gold medal game in the Olympics, they're not going to limit minutes on any player. You get to a football Super Bowl, they're not going to limit snaps. Right? Like there's nothing where you have limitations in place.
Think of what was a massive success, hockey in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Remember the day after? Remember the one thing that was different than NHL play was they went 3-on-3 for the overtime period instead of 5-on-5, which you hated, and a lot of people had problems with. Like, why are you not holding this like if this was the Stanley Cup final, Game 7, it would be 5-on-5.
Yep.
And it feels like, to your point, the WBC has quadrupled the amount of qualifications, guys being able to throw limits. It's just, it's a little confusing. And again, the diehard baseball fan is going to be watching no matter what. But again, I think most people that watch that Olympic gold medal game in hockey were not diehard hockey fans. People, I think, maybe turn it on like, hey, this is fun. I'm trying to kind of get into this. I got into the Olympics. When you're trying to bring in a wider audience for the WBC, that's not just diehard baseball fans, people sitting here on a Tuesday night on St. Patrick's Day looking for something to watch tonight, you got to have the stars out there, and the stars should not have restraints on how much they can play or how they should be used. I think it's wrong for the WBC.
Yeah, like even tonight, the max pitches thrown by anyone is 95, which again is a good number. It's a good number, but like in what other sport do we say that? In what other sport? I mean, there's no max. You get to opening day, it could be March 26th. Now nobody's going to throw 100 pitches March 26th because organizations aren't stupid. And I understand the like what they're trying to accomplish. Nobody's trying to hurt Nolan McLean. I get it.
Right.
If McLean's working on a no through 6 at 94 pitches, you want to protect Mark DeRosa from throwing him back out there, and you want to protect Nolan McLean from saying, "Skip, I'm good," because the 22-year-old doesn't. I don't even know how old he is, but doesn't.
Right,
know
he's
the
going to keep going.
ramifications of what's on the other side of throwing 135 pitches here tonight. But it's just like I just have never been a fan of that. This is like the highest level of sport. The highest level of sport. We don't put limitations on what someone can accomplish at the highest level of sport.
And I think, despite obviously people in San Diego were not thrilled with this, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto, what he did in Game 7, coming back out after pitching the previous night,
back out there.
I mean, that was, regardless of who you're rooting for,
That's what you got to do to win.
Was an unbelievable watch. When he started warming up, I mean, everyone was like, "Is he really coming out and throwing a couple innings? Like this is unbelievable." And when you're trying to build up that kind of drama, when you literally have Aaron Judge talking about how this is better than the World Series, which I think is kind of crazy, but better than the World Series, and you have pitch limits, you have all this stuff, it takes it away. By the way, I'm curious what New York radio is saying about Aaron Judge saying the WBC is better than the World Series, considering he didn't play that great 2 years ago in the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone, I can buy that the atmosphere is better. I can buy that people's pride for their nations is more extreme than when Cleveland plays Chicago. Yeah, I understand that dynamic. I cannot buy that the actual level of competition is better because there's restrictor plates in the WBC that aren't on in the regular season. So I cannot be convinced because again, and to your point, in the World Series, nothing is off limits. Guy threw 6 innings the day before, throw him back out there. And he wants to throw another 4 innings. We have seen ridiculous examples of players going above and beyond to win. That isn't even possible in this event. If it meant as much as the World Series, why would we put these rules in place that prevent it from looking like that? Now, it's to protect these players from themselves. I get it. They don't want these players hurt. It's like a rock hard place situation for baseball. But again, it's just different than all these other games and events we've talked about.
It's like, why don't you put it in January then? Where it is a complete, you've had months to rest, there's a ramp up, then you have a couple months before even spring training.
Or to your point, I mean, or July.
Do it in the middle of the season where they're fully ramped up. I'm with you on the restrictor plates. That should not be a narrative going into a championship game when you're trying to market it as the WBC.
All right, we have the latest on the Padres rotation. Could they still be in the market for a veteran starter that could absolutely change their fortunes potentially in 2026? We have the latest on that on the other side. Brian Dutcher will join the show coming up at 2:30. Aztecs 10th year. That is hard to believe. He will be heading into a 10th year coming up in the fall. Brian Dutcher joins us live. A recap of the season that just ended on Saturday and looking ahead with this roster and program with Dutch at 2:30. This is San Diego Sports 760. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Brian Dutcher will join us live in 10 minutes. Before that, we are giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the Fanatics Flag Football Classic, an amazing, amazing giveaway. The Fanatics Flag Football Classic coming to BMO Stadium in LA this Saturday at 1 p.m. It's a historic tournament. We're bringing together the likes of Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels, Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr., Rob Gronkowski. I mean, listen, this is unbelievable. Joe Burrow, Logan Paul, and more. Some of the biggest stars in the NFL, elite global athletes, and the official USA flag football national team to finally crown a true world champion in flag football. The event brought to you by Fanatic Studios. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. We'll give those away in about 5 minutes.
I think, I know we're going some to Padres with this, but I think in flag football, I would want Lamar Jackson of any of those players.
Yeah,
who's catching Lamar in flag football?
There's no one. It's not possible to grab a flag from him.
Yeah, I mean, you
it's
can't
hard enough to
him.
tackle him. So and by the way, flag football, unlike football, is not 11 on 11. There's so much space. What is it? Is flag football? What is flag
it's
football?
7 on 7, right? Because you have like a center who's also a receiver.
Give you the ball or snap you the ball.
Yeah,
and then everyone else is eligible.
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh my gosh, that's impossible to stop.
Because a guy like Brady or even Mahomes or kind of a Burrow, I wouldn't necessarily pick because you want someone that can move. I mean, who's like if you got Tyreek Hill healthy, Devon Achane, Justin Jefferson.
What are the official? Do you know the official rules on this?
Olympic flag football is going to be played on a 5-on-5 format.
5 on 5. How big? Now, I'm assuming the field isn't as wide as a football.
I don't think so. I think it's much narrower.
Rosters are expected to be limited to 10 to 12 players total.
Who makes Team USA? Like seriously, who is on that roster?
Like, I mean, I don't know, but
no linemen.
No linemen. Right. So, but I am thinking about this. It's like, you better win big. You cannot lose to the Czech Republic in flag football in the Olympics in LA. Am I wrong? Not only lose, you can't allow a point.
This is going to be like 96-0.
Is it? And are there going to be multiple U.S. teams? Because some of these sports like beach volleyball, you have the U.S. pairing of Schaefer and Sperry. You have the U.S. pairing of Long and Fletcher, and they're all competing in a tournament to win. You can win gold and silver.
The U.S. would make up like 20 of the 28 teams.
No, because you probably can only have like 2.
I'm wondering, are we going to get other countries that try and poach NFL players to be on the team?
Definitely.
That's 100%. Just like that. I don't remember her name, but the chick that went to Stanford that competed for China.
Oh, the snowboarder who was literally from Medina Beach.
But we still should be fine.
Or Aaron Nola being totally Italian.
Yeah, but you still should be fine because even if someone goes to compete for like Great Britain, what about the other 150 Americans?
What are the Vegas odds going to be on USA versus the field? It's going to be like a minus 10,000 favorite that they win the flag football gold medal in USA. You can already pencil that in. And if they have multiple teams, it's going to be gold, silver, and bronze.
Listen to this real quick, though. The approved version for the Olympics is a men's tournament and a women's tournament. To Brent's earlier point, 5 on 5, 50-yard field. You know how much time it takes for Lamar Jackson to cover 50 yards? It takes 4.8 seconds.
Right.
Like it's that. I mean, all these guys, obviously, but I mean, the whole, like the scoring drive is 4 seconds is my point. You're going to start at the 5 and 4 seconds later, it's going to be 7-0.
Yeah. And we don't need a quarterback with some huge cannon. He only throws 50 yards. A college redshirt freshman. That
you don't need to throw 50 yards. You throw
5
5 yards. The dude runs 40 yards.
Who's going to be on the scout team for China to try to replicate Lamar Jackson running around the quarterback spot?
This almost seems unnecessary to play because it's going to be a route.
Oh, this is not even going to be
way bigger than Miracle on Ice if the Czech Republic wins this thing.
Yes.
Like a bunch of dudes just get together. Like, I've been watching football since like 2012.
Massive NFL fans.
Like I've been in Germany my whole life, and it's going to be great. I got my buddies together. We're fast.
Do you think it'll be like someday how basketball, it used to be like the dream team playing a bunch of plumbers, and now
that's legit. I can see flag football having at least a level of competition one day.
Like 30 years from now, could a team
be the
Canada?
I was gonna say, who would it be?
No, that wouldn't even happen.
Canada. And I don't think like American Samoa, but they're linemen. You know what I mean?
They're not like receivers.
And that's American Samoa. So do they even participate? I don't see. I mean, I guess we're not getting gold, silver, and bronze if we only have like one team. or
right. So
even two teams.
It's just everyone competing for silver.
Dude, I'd be so pumped to get that bronze. Like,
oh yeah,
2 U.S. teams, and then the Great Britain team comes in third. They get smoked by the U.S.
Betting on the flag football USA Olympics is going to be fun.
I would want to go to that though.
Yeah,
in LA this weekend, and B, the Olympics.
Yeah.
All right, call right now if you want. Speaking of flag football, if you want that free 4-pack of tickets to the Fanatics Flag Football Classic this Saturday at BMO Stadium in LA at 1 p.m., caller 5, you're going. 877-767-4760. Caller 5, you are going. 877-767-4760. Brian Dutcher joins us live on the other side. The first 4 on 760 will kick off at 3:30. Catching up with Dutch on the season that was and looking ahead. Coming up next on San Diego Sports 760.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. In NFL news, the Dolphins traded wide receiver Jalen Waddle to the Broncos. The Broncos picked up Waddle as well as the Dolphins' 4th-round pick, while the Broncos sent their 1st-round, 3rd, and 4th-round picks to Miami. In NCAA news, we have the first 4 coverage tonight on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 3:30. We got UMCB taking on Howard, and that's going to be followed by Texas NC State. And tonight at 5 o'clock, we've got the final for the WBC. It's going to be Team Venezuela taking on Team USA at 5 o'clock on Fox. Taco Bell's new Luxe Value Menu has 10 lavish indulgences, all $3 or less. It's easy to get carried away. Like when you try the new mini taco salad, you might ask, do I need a salad fork? The fork in the bag's fine. Luxe Value Menu at participating locations while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
All right, let's get Brian Dutcher in here. San Diego Sports 760, home of the Aztecs. Again, as Brent just said, first 4 coming up in an hour. Dutch spoke with the media earlier today. Dutch, there is no offseason for you. Even though your offseason is underway, you're still obviously working on putting a bow on this past season, looking ahead, meeting with the media, and we appreciate you taking time. I know you touched on this today, but in general, I mean, you look at this season overall, analytically, your metrics are as good, if not better, than last year. How much harder do you see it as becoming harder to qualify for the NCAA tournament as an at-large coming out of a league that is outside the quote-unquote power structure?
Yeah, no question, John. If we say the power structure includes the Big East,
yeah,
so the Power 5, this year there were 4 teams taken outside of that as at-large teams: St. Louis, Miami, Ohio, St. Mary's, and Santa Clara. Last year there were 4 teams taken outside the Power 5: San Diego State, Utah State, New Mexico, and Gonzaga. The year before that, there were 8 teams. So we've dropped from 8 to 4 the last 2 years. Year before that was 5. Year before that was 7. So the opportunities are shrinking. And just now that we're changing conferences, just pencil in. One of those spots was either going to be St. Mary's or Gonzaga, whoever didn't win the postseason tournament.
Right.
Because they both had magical runs. This year it was Gonzaga that run, so St. Mary's was at large. In 25 and 24, St. Mary's won it, so Gonzaga was at large. So there aren't that many spots. So we have to play almost perfect basketball to claim one of those. We finished 2nd in the league, lost in the conference championship, and it wasn't enough this year.
Brian Dutcher with us right now on San Diego Sports 760. To switch gears to scheduling, which has always benefited your program, it feels like the years in which you've made it, which is basically, I mean, you've made it 7 times in your 9 years, which is incredible. When you are able to pick up those marquee wins, they've really benefited you from a seeding perspective. So do you still forecast yourself and this program putting itself in a position where you're playing the likes of the Michigans and the Arizonas? Obviously, we know you'll be in the players era again. What can those types of games out of league, and you'll have more out of league games, what can that mean for your program moving forward?
We're going to continue to play a tough schedule this coming year, John. But some of these schools, you know, they dumb it down. They play quad 4s and 3s and try to win by 30 points. And metrically, they end up okay. I think if it comes down to you, if you can get a marquee win, we went last year because we beat Houston, and they were a Final Four team. But we are going to continue to schedule hard and try to steal 1 or 2 of those games.
Everyone, you know how this is, Dutch. Everyone's like, who's back? Who are you adding in the portal? What's your roster look like? Like, well, the season ended like 48 hours ago. So for our listeners that aren't aware of the process, what is it like in terms of the team you just fielded in 25-26? What's the process like as you speak with the players that are on your current roster as you move forward?
I had a team meeting yesterday, John, and kind of recap the year and what my expectations were moving forward. And then I started individual meetings starting today. I'm the GM today, finding out who's interested in coming back. And I would say most of them want to come back, but at what price? You know, there's agents involved. There's a price point for some of them. And it's whether you want them back at that price or you feel you can get better value somewhere else. And so now that has the pro feel to it. You know, these kids love their experience here and they don't want to leave for the majority. But sometimes decisions have to be made by them and by us as the future of our program.
Good segue just to resources in general. How much more do you need from a resource perspective as you transition to a league that will include Gonzaga, obviously. And just as you try to maintain the caliber of play that you've had over the years from a national perspective with San Diego State, how important is the community's involvement in helping you retain and recruit moving forward?
It's everybody. It's the community supporting retention fund, Aztec Men's Basketball Retention Fund at San Diego State or through the Mesa Foundation. It's important. And then we need contributions from the university. How much value do we bring? How much are they willing to invest? And between those two resources, we have to put a competitive team together. And that's what my goal is. That's what my charge is. And I do it with great passion.
Campaign underway right now. GoAztecs.com/impact. Again, GoAztecs.com/impact to support San Diego State men's basketball and its student athletes. You've touched on it before about the importance of having like program guys. I mean, you've had them. Look at Miles Bird, has spent the last 4 years here. Reese Dixon-Waters in the middle of his career ends up spending 3 seasons here. Do you see that trend continuing, like with your younger core, your first and second year players? Is it advantageous to be able to pick up a second or third or fourth year with some of these players?
Again, John, I think they want to stay. They value their experience. They value their coaching. They value everything about San Diego State, their education. They like it here. They like the people they're working with. They like the people they're surrounded with. But then again, it's like now they're in a world like adults are in where other job opportunities come up for more money. And so you have to weigh how happy are you with your life and how much more money is going to make you happy somewhere else. And so they're making adult decisions. And they have agents and they have families that help them with those decisions. And just know this, don't take it personally. I don't. This is business right now. So I'm doing business. Once they're here, then I'm fully invested in them. I'm helping them as people. I'm helping them as players. I'm trying to guide them through life and get them prepared through life. But when they're making business decisions, it's business.
You touched on this a little bit today, but again, for our listeners, like we've seen a lot of essentially foreign professionals come over to the college game, and we've seen it a ton in the Mountain West over the last 12 months. New Mexico Center, Tomislav Buljan, Demerol at Grand Canyon. There are others I'm probably missing as well. So we've seen the influx of foreign professionals. Is that an avenue that you and your staff think to pursue moving forward?
We are looking at every avenue, John. This is an international city, and we should be able to attract international players if they feel they're the right fit for our program. We've had international players, but most of them have already been in the States and are transferring to our program or have come over here and already playing high school basketball. We have to continue to grow our outreach and look at players that are currently playing in Europe that might have an interest in coming to San Diego to play a part of their careers.
Brian Toucher with us right now on San Diego Sports 760. Just to kind of put a bow on this past year, what can you say about your seniors and some of these players that have been so impactful? Not just Miles Bird and Reese Dixon-Waters, but the players that you added as well via the transfer portal, whether it was Sean Newman this year, Jeremiah Oden. Again, you didn't get the end result you wanted because we know the expectations of San Diego State, but that doesn't take away from the individuals that you had a part of this team this year.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah and Sean, they came here. They poured everything into their 1 year here. They wanted to help us make a tournament. They wanted to help us win games, and they poured everything into it. Obviously, Reese and Bird have spent 3 and 4 years here pouring their heart and souls into it too. And so these kids were invested in San Diego State. And I'm so appreciative of what they did. Obviously, 22 wins, second in the conference by ourselves, conference championship in most years is going to get us in to the NCAA tournament. It didn't this year. We sat there just outside the bracket. And so we can't look at it as a complete failure. We can look at it as disappointment. We didn't make it. Wish we'd have won one more game that would have put us in. But we poured into the season, and we had a pretty good year.
This may be for another day. There's still some specifics we need on the Pac-12, but would your hope be, this has been an issue for a long time with the Mountain West, those night games on Friday into the day game on Saturday with an automatic bid on the line. And to your point, there were only 4 at-large spots outside the power structure. So everything is on the line in that game. Would your hope be moving forward that some of that may change? We know it's contingent on television, but you'd prefer a little bit more prep time, I'd imagine, for a championship game.
Yeah, just recovery time.
Yeah.
The teams know each other. But when you get back to the hotel at 12:31 a.m., and you're playing at 3 p.m. the next day, it's unfair to the kids. You know, you'd like 24 hours of recovery time between games. And I know they're young, but it is a long, grueling season. And I thought we compete trust me, John, both teams were tired coming up to that 5-minute mark where they took a timeout. Both teams were dragging. You could see it. And then they had the 5-point play, and that turned the game. 9 points at that point, late in the game, with the legs everyone was going on, might as well have been 16. It was tough to come back from that point. We missed a 3. I think it went to 12, and then it was really hard. With the legs we had to be able to apply pressure and try to get back in the game at that point was very difficult.
Neither here nor there, but I didn't ask you about it post-game on Saturday, but was it not to put it on officiating? It's a basketball game, and as you've always said, I mean, it's a hard job. But was it properly officiated the way that was ruled or not, in your estimation?
Well, all I can say is the people that told me when they talked to the experts in the studios, they thought that they would take the basket away.
Right.
Unfortunately, they didn't.
Yeah.
So I have no control over that. You know, it's hard to officiate a college basketball game, but that call was critical. At worst, it's a 6-point game,
right, with
X amount of time to go. But instead of 6, it's 9. And with the amount of time left, it was hard to come back from that.
Josh, moving forward, I mean, specifically with heading to the Pac-12 and being in a league with Gonzaga, you've played them so often over the years. I go back to a couple of years ago. I think Reese's first year on the Mesa, you went up there in Spokane. I think you were a 5 seed later that year in the NCAA tournament. What's it going to mean? Just thinking about San Diego State and Gonzaga, at least 2 times a year. Many years, you'll probably play 3 times when you include the conference tournament. What type of opportunity and challenge is that going to be moving forward?
I mean, come on, a great basketball team.
Right.
The Zags are a fixture in the NCAA tournament. And to be honest with you, we've been a fixture in the NCAA tournament. So we're disappointed we're not there this year. But 2 great teams to build a program around, to build a conference around. And then we have Colorado State, we know is good. Boise's good. Utah State, obviously good in the tournament. This is going to be a dynamic basketball conference.
Last one, Dutch, would just be on this new world that we're in. When you have players that are getting degrees from San Diego State, right? Keyshawn Johnson has a degree from San Diego State. Lamont Butler, Miles Byrd will have one later this spring. What are the expectations with players that have already played 4 years, 4-year program? Again, we all know the opportunities, whether professional or elsewhere via portal. Like, can you ask for more out of a player, or how do you see it from that perspective?
I mean, I've looked at it with Lamont and Keyshawn. It's like, you gave me 4 good years. You graduated from here. You're an Aztec for life, and now you're a pro. So whether you're a pro here or you're a pro in the NBA or you're a pro at another university, this is your first year out of college. I think most college students would say, let me maximize my income in my first year out of college. And that's what some of these guys that have played here have done.
I said last question. I just wanted to ask you one more on the way out. Do you watch the NCAA tournament? Do you throw this thing on, or how do you consume the NCAA tournament? How will you be watching, if at all?
Yeah, I'll turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn it on. I don't have a game targeted where I'm like, this game's at this day at this time. I'll just turn it on, and like everybody else, whatever game's on that's close, I'll watch.
As your preparations obviously continue as well for the upcoming season, Dutch, we appreciate all the time you've taken for us throughout the course of the year. Best of luck as you build your roster for next season on the Mesa, and appreciate you doing it as always.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
All right. Great stuff from Brian Dutcher. 9 years on the Mesa, 7 trips to the NCAA tournament, and of course a trip to the national championship game in 2023. We can react to that on the other side. Plus, we've got First 4 action coming up this afternoon on San Diego Sports 760. Westwood One's coverage kicks off at 3:30. This is San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Great connecting with Brian Dutcher, San Diego State's 9th year head basketball coach. Offseason underway on the Mesa. NCAA tournament getting underway in San Diego on Friday. The tournament itself begins tonight. You can hear it exclusively in San Diego on San Diego Sports 760. Westwood One's exclusive coverage beginning at 3:30 this afternoon. If you're a sports fan, you do not have to be a college basketball fan.
No.
If you are, amazing. If you're a football fan, you love this, right? And there's nothing like this.
I'm curious. So I don't know if you saw this, but Tyrese Halliburton, the Indiana Pacers star, tweeted today.
About Iowa State?
He tweeted about March Madness in general.
Okay.
And about brackets. He said, make one bracket and stand on it.
Bracket rules.
He was saying you should only be allowed to make one bracket, kind of getting after people who make like 8 brackets or bracket pools where they buy in with 5 of them. Where do you fall on this? Because Ben and I really
then I want to hear from Brian. Here's what I would say, because I tend to agree, but here's my caveat. In today's world where, again, back in the day, and you're younger, but I don't know if back in the day this happened for you, but for me and Brent, I'm filling it out on a piece of paper and submitting it.
Okay.
So to me back then, it was like, well, I was only really going to fill out one because it was almost like a process. Now it's like click, click, click. 10 seconds later, I got a bracket. I can replicate.
You can do an autofill bracket.
You can do an autofill.
Yeah.
So the way I view it now is I'm cool with 2. I think 2 is legitimate. 1 is you're like, hey, my fandom, hey, my team's in. I'm an Aztec. I'll take him to the championship.
Okay.
Oh, but hold on, they're a 12 seed. Let me do a second where it's more realistic.
And I like that.
So for me, I think 2. When people have 88 brackets and they're on ESPN and Yahoo and Google and my friends and my buddies, that's you have no clue what you're rooting for. It's like fantasy football. I always hate when like, oh, I'm so glad Patrick Mahomes fumbled the goal line. Why am I glad? I'm a Chiefs fan. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it's very fantasy football-esque for me. And again, I think a couple is reasonable. When you start getting to 28 brackets, that to me is almost like it's just unreasonable and unnecessary.
I'm with you.
2, right?
2 is the max.
Okay.
Like my buddy Tyler is one of these people that he will fill out 16 different brackets.
See that?
Which is annoying in itself. But then the cherry on top of it is he will fill out 15 different brackets with 15 different scenarios. And then he will brag if one of the 15 brackets hits a little bit.
Oh my God, 80% right.
Big genius. And it's just
right.
like, dude, you filled out so many
20
brackets. It's like, it's like you see in movies when someone's trying to like crack a safe. It's like you literally went through every possible number combination and put it in your bracket. So one of them's going to be right.
I am 1 per pool. I just had a debate with my buddy about this yesterday.
1 per pool. I like 1 per pool.
A couple of my friends are actually listening right now. We started from high school. We have a group that always has a bracket.
Sure.
Anyway, some of them wanted to do less buy-in, but you could do up to 4 brackets. I was like, no, I don't want to see John 1, John 3.
John 3's beating Bob 2. Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I think it should be 1 per pool. If you have a bracket pool and Brent has a bracket pool and I'm in one, I might fill it out a little bit differently. But these people that will line up 8 brackets in 1 pool and go all in with a bunch of money trying to have one of them hit, that drives me through the roof.
Here, how about this? Here's what I'm doing currently. First of all, I'm in 1 pool right now for money. It's yours. Okay. So I'm in one with Sammy, and I'm in another one for money. We can say this, right? That's a Survivor. Have you ever done Survivor NCAA?
No. What is Survivor? I want to do Survivor NFL.
You have to do 2 picks per day, I think, until the Sweet 16. So
is there an opening in this? Is there an opening in this?
You want in on this?
I would love to.
What's that, Brett?
I kind of like that.
It's a pretty cool concept, right? It sounds easy. It's not. Because by the time you get to the round of 32, there's only 8 games that day.
Right.
So you got 16 to choose from Thursday and Friday. Even there it can be hard because you're not trying to go with 1s and 2s and 3s. Because if you're using nobody would. If you're using Arizona against LIU, you can't use Arizona in the Sweet 16. So it's very strategic, and you're looking for 6s and 7s, not meant to, say
right,
and 8s to win on that first day to give yourself a chance.
If you have an opening, I would love to be in, because I've done that with the NFL where you pick 1 each week and then you can't. With Circa, you can't pick them again. So it is like that. You don't want to pick the best teams because you want to save them for later. That's fun. I like that. And
it gets hard, like in the NFL, as you know. I mean, all of a sudden, if you've made it to like the 10th week, well, you've already used 10 teams
and injuries. You think you circled one, and then all of a sudden, star quarterbacks out. You're like, oh,
So I like the idea. Listen, everyone loves March Madness. We all love pools. And I do like the interesting like play on brackets. Like some of them have like, hey, if the higher seed advances, you benefit from the higher seed advancing if that's your pick. At the end of the day, you almost have to be in one, right?
Yeah. Oh, you have to be in a bracket pool. I think it's changed with right, because like I fill out fewer brackets now, one per. I never like doing the multiples. Because if my bracket gets busted, which it will, then I will just personally gamble on it later on. Individual games. That has changed bracket pools because now if your bracket is completely busted, you can just bet the final four.
Now, do you believe at all in including the first 4 games in a bracket?
No.
I do not.
No. I think the first 4 is fun tonight because you're not picking a 16 over a 1, but
you're just kind of watching.
Texas, NC State, maybe one of these teams gets hot. We were talking about UCLA went on that run where they were in the first four to the final 4. VCU had the same thing. So no, I don't pick the first 4.
I do include the first 4.
You do include the first
brackets,
4. Okay.
But 99.8% of the time, it's inconsequential because
that's true.
Unless the exception of the year when Purdue got beat and who was other Virginia got beat
by UMBC.
Those are the only 2 times that it really matters.
I'm with you. I just don't want my bracket busted off UMBC Howard tonight.
Well, my whole thing is that it has to count because it's part of the tournament and they're in the tournament. So if you're going to have one of the upsets, you have to pick one of them because otherwise, say Alabama was the number 1 seed. How are you going to just do Alabama versus question mark?
I got you.
So for me, it's you pick the final. That counts as part of the tournament because you need to know who they're going to.
Yeah, I'm more with you, Sammy, where I'm watching tonight as like sheer entertainment. And if one of these winners, Texas, NC State, if someone really looks good. I mean, if someone wins this game by 22 points, there's going to be a lot of people saying that they can beat.
Well, and tomorrow the Miami Ohio game brings in entirely different excitement around that game.
And tonight, by the way, is the game. Tonight is the first 4 game that's broadcast. They're all on True TV. But tonight is the 1 game broadcast with Dick Vitale and Charles Barkley.
Definitely be listening to that.
The only game is the Texas NC State game that has Charles Barkley with Dick Vitale. That is tonight. And again, you can listen. Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA tournament kicks off today at 3:30 on San Diego Sports 760. There is an available free agent pitcher that's being linked to the Padres. How much could he help with opening day just about a week away? We'll get into that on the other side here until NCAA tournament kicks off at 3:30 on San Diego Sports 760.
Their support is sponsored by Mitsubishi Electric. The Dolphins traded wide receiver Jalen Waddle to the Broncos today. The Broncos will get Waddle as well as the Dolphins' 4th round pick this year. The Broncos sent their 1st round pick, which is the 30th overall, as well as a 3rd and 4th round pick to the Fins. Coming up in about a half an hour, we got first 4 coverage of the NCAA tournament coming up on San Diego Sports 760 when UMCB takes on Howard, and then that's going to be followed by Texas NC State. And at 5 o'clock tonight, we have the WBC final. It's going to be Team Venezuela going up against Team USA. You can see that one at 5 o'clock on Fox. Temperatures are rising. Is your home ready for summer? Mitsubishi Electric heat pump systems eliminate hot spots with precise comfort control in every room. Upgrade your comfort and see if you qualify for rebates or special financing offers at MitsubishiComfort.com.
All right, San Diego Sports 760. Jon Schaefer, Sammy Long. We're with you for another 30 minutes because we have Westwood One's coverage of the NCAA tournament exclusively on San Diego Sports 760. First 4 gets underway at 3:30. All right, there was a report, and let me find it here real quick. And it's by, Robert Murray. Okay, baseball reporter Robert Murray said today that he believes this free agent starting pitcher is a perfect fit for the Padres. He goes by the name of Lucas Giolito. All right, so Lucas
Former
Giolito.
White Sox.
What's that?
Former White Sox pitcher?
Absolutely. So you look at Lucas Giolito, and how on earth he's still in the market makes no sense. Last year, he made 26 starts at a 3.4 ERA. He was over a 2-WAR starter last year. Highly productive. He's 31, right? He's not 39. He's 31. He had a 2-WAR season last year, had a 3.4 ERA. Now, here's the issue. The issue is the dollars. The issue is clearly the dollars, hence the fact that he's still available right now as a free agent, 10 days or 9 days or 8 days before the start of the season. But this was a name the Padres were linked to previously in the offseason, and then they always went in a different direction. It was like German Marquez, Walker Buehler. You're right. These flyers.
They actually tried to get Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, they were going to commit some money to Merrill Kelly. Good point. But then they went way cheaper, obviously, with Buehler, Marquez, some of their other options. Are they willing, with everything that's playing out right now with Joe Musgrove, not that the season is over with Joe, but we don't know. Are they willing to invest? They're about to be sold. I mean, on the verge, like it could be days or certainly weeks. Are you willing to invest in your rotation at this time if you're the current ownership group?
If they want to be a player this year, they better, because what we've talked about, FanGraphs, while again, it's projections, you can outlive your projections, you can underperform projections. Going from 86-79 tells you something. Yeah. And it tells you a lot that they don't believe in the starting or the health of this starting rotation. And we're already seeing it happen. I mean, Joe Musgrove, don't know how long he'll be out. Kevin Acee said on our show earlier, was like, I'm not saying it's, fire alarm, but it's certainly a little concerning that this was not in the plan. And I mean, the fact that the Diamondbacks and Giants have just gotten better, I think that is an underrated part of the NL West. I don't think the Padres have gotten worse. I think the Padres are still sitting there as a team that has a lot of talent, excellent bullpen, some star hitters. I think it'll be exciting to see Laureano and hopefully Jackson Merrill fully healthy this year. So I do think the bats, some of the power will be back in this lineup, but I mean, it is hard to really have a lot of confidence. If Joe Musgrove's hurt, Michael King, this guy's stay healthy, and we've already heard about Nick Pivetta with arm fatigue. Now I know he's come back. I know he's been pitching the last couple of weeks, but I mean, you're talking about a lot of pressure on Nick Pivetta off the jump, especially if Musgrove isn't there. So if this crops up again, I mean, you're having to throw out German Marquez and Walker Buehler out there daily, out there weekly to win you both games. And again, there is a reason why those guys were free agents for the money that they were signed to.
I mean, listen, if you told me right now I could add 145 innings, he was coming off injury, he didn't pitch in 2024, but if I could add 145 innings and a 3.4 ERA and a guy that's worth, two WAR player or more, again, I don't know what the cost is going to be, and that might ultimately be the issue. What do you got, bro?
According to Google, one of the issues is he he had an injured flexor tendon at the end of last season, which
that's
was
why he only made
missed
the 26 starts.
which is why he missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
So some teams are hesitant to give him a big contract coming off of that injury at the end of the season last year.
And here's the thing. He turned down a $14 million team option after making $19 million last year. So knowing that, with that information, you're not getting him on the cheap. Yeah, I mean, or is he looking for multiple years? And again, you're about to be sold. The issue, the reason I'm bringing that up is the next owner is going to be making decisions. Like, you don't want to be tying up the next owner. Now, you've already tied him up. Tatis is under contract for forever. Machado's under contract for. So what's another? Who cares if you sign a guy a 2-year, $40 million deal? Would be my guess.
Right. I think the only way this happens, because to your point, whoever's buying the team is going to go, wait, I didn't approve Lucas Giolito on a 4-year contract. Now, what you see a lot happen in other sports, especially in the NFL, do you overpay him for 1 year in the ballpark of 20 million, 25, knowing he's above market value? Yes, you're probably overpaying. Don't know if they have the funds for it, but it is a 1-year contract coming off the books. Now, I'm sure Lucas Giolito, knowing a lockout is impending, is sitting there going, I want financial security for the foreseeable future before there's maybe a salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Padres did get Lucas Giolito, it would give you a lot more flexibility to let Joe Musgrove fully heal and bring him along slowly. And then AJ Preller's plan of hoping that Marquez or Canning or Buehler pops, if one of them become a decent level player again, that'd be big for the team. But again, having just 3 guys so far in your rotation this year, and two at least with a pretty decent injury history, it's a massive concern.
So in November, when ESPN ranked the top 50 free agents, they did put him as a top 25 player available, including position players, top 25 player available. They projected his contract to be 2 years, $32 million, which again is the cost of doing business for somewhat frontline starting pitching. In fact, I think that's a bargain. I really do. Now, again, you're paying for the second year. It's like, you ever go to the grocery store? Everyone's done this. And they're like, one box of oatmeal is $2, but 2 for $3.
Right.
And everyone, by and large, the reason they do that, people will buy the second box of oatmeal, right? So here's the thing. But if you don't need the oatmeal, this happens all the time, right? It's like, oh, you want 2? What are they called? What are bananas called when they're in groups?
Bundles.
No,
bushels.
Bushel.
What is a group of bananas called?
It's a healthy
banana
snack.
Friends.
Banana friend.
What is this? Brent's looking it up. I need to know this.
A hand
of bananas?
Yes.
Really?
That's fascinating.
Group of bananas attached together, commonly purchased in a store, is known as a hand.
Okay, so we've all done that. We've all purchased a hand of bananas.
It's like 5.
Or a bunch. It's like 5
fingers.
Or a bunch.
Or a bunch of bananas. But when they're like, hey, bananas $2, but 2 hands. I've never heard it. 2 bunches of bananas.
2 bunches of bananas.
$3. But the thing is, you don't need the second bunch of bananas because they go bad.
Right.
So are you worried about your 2027 rotation right now if you're the Padres?
Well,
yes, you probably are.
Right. Yeah. So certainly AJ Preller is. AJ Preller is worried about that. And looking up Merrill Kelly's contract, Merrill Kelly's on a 2-year, $40 million contract. I mean, the Padres offered him 3, I believe, right? That was the point. And they offered him a 3-year deal.
Right, but he didn't like the taxes.
He didn't like the taxes in California.
Right.
It's pretty funny. But, whatever. So they obviously were in the market where he was seriously considering them in that ballpark of money. So if you were willing to give that to Merrill Kelly, now to the point, Brent, you made about coming off an injury, there's maybe some concerns. He is one of the last frontline starters. But if you were willing to shell that out for Merrill Kelly on a 1-year deal, Lucas Giolito would give you, even if he's injury prone, a little bit more bandwidth with, Musgrove and Pivetta and guys like that. It just right now you are really praying that Walker Buehler becomes what he once was, because that's really the only hope that they're going to get through the season.
And it's not happening. He's not going to be that player. I mean, a really good version of Walker Buehler is nowhere close to what Walker Buehler once was, is my guess. And here's the thing. It's like, okay, you could give him 2 years, 32. I'm making it up. Or just pay him the $20 million for 1 year. Don't worry about this. Okay, so that's a higher price per year, but that doesn't tie you up for 2027. Now, are you worried about he had elbow surgery in 2024? That's why he missed the year. I mean, you've already got a rotation with question marks with injuries. But again, he made 26 starts last year.
At least when he's healthy,
you
feel confident that you could throw Lucas Giolito out there in a playoff game and feel comfortable with that. Throwing German Marquez out there in a playoff game,
right?
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like we've reached the point where, like, what other option do you have? This is what I'll say. If we get into the season and 30 games in, they're just playing average or subpar baseball and the rotation isn't good, we're all going to say the same thing. We told you so. This isn't like shocking. So I guess you could wait it off and be like, hey, let's see how we play for 30 days. And here's a player that's still available. Maybe he still will be. But aren't you leaving it up to chance? I mean, you're seemingly asking for trouble, rolling the ball out every fifth day and having this rotation is how I see it. I mean, we'll see. Yeah. Maybe it's Ruben Niebla's masterclass and Walker Buehler comes out of the gates hot and German Marquez as well and Randy Vasquez, but maybe not.
To the point of even if Niebla gets this together and you're able to find Nick Castellanos becomes Gavin Sheets 2.0 plus better. And you Walker Buehler and German Marquez, you find a diamond in the rough. Diamond in the roughs don't matter unless you have a foundation. Look, everyone looks at Moneyball, the movie. Everyone forgets in that movie, and it's a great movie. I love it. Billy Bean, finding Hatterberg and all these guys.
You're right.
People forget that they had 2 rookie all-stars. They had 3 superstar pitchers. And so
they don't even talk about that in the movie.
They don't even talk about it in the movie. They don't even mention it.
Yep.
So they had a foundation of elite starting pitching, and then you're able to go out and find your Scott Hatterbergs and your guys. You're getting rid of Pena for him. It's like that's what the Padres need. The Padres need a foundation of guys at the starting pitching spot that you feel comfortable every couple of days throwing out there, and then Buehler pops off, and then German Marquez or Griffin Canning or Randy Vasquez or JP Sears, whoever it is, kind of has something and outperforms their contract. That's great, but just relying on those guys to become elite frontline starters is kind of fool's gold.
I don't think he'll be around in 30 days for them to even try and do that.
No, that's a possibility, and that's why it's not worth probably risking it either.
I'm looking at it like this. The first team that isn't an actual legit contender that has somebody in the rotation that goes down, he's going to be the first phone call they make.
Exactly right.
So if someone in the Yankees or the Doyers rotation goes down, they're going to have him
drive the price up.
Yeah, and they're going to have him on speed dial. And good point, Sammy. That's going to make him instantly unaffordable for the Padres, and he'll be a hot commodity for whoever is hit by injuries early.
Just sign him.
Totally.
I mean, listen, Preller has made late moves, whether it's via trade or free agency. I mean, just sign him. But I'd rather have too much than not enough, and they don't have too much, even with Lucas Giolito.
And worst case scenario, say you do sign him to that 1 year, $20 million deal, and the season doesn't go the way you're planned. Trade his ass at the trade deadline.
At the deadline, yeah, you get something back.
Starting pitching and closers are the 2 things that are always in demand at the trade deadline. So if it's not working out, then you can just trade him.
All right, on the other side, again, we've got Westwood One's coverage of the NCAA tournament kicking off this afternoon at 3:30 with the first 4 from Dayton. Plus, on the other side, proving how successful the WBC has been in TV numbers. We've got the latest for you. Again, the WBC final is tonight as well. Westwood One's coverage of the NCAA tournament in 15 minutes right here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, San Diego Sports 760. John Schaefer, Sammy Long. We've got Westwood One's coverage of the NCAA tournament. The first four from Dayton coming up in about 10 minutes. So that'll get underway tonight. Looking forward to it. Of course, also tonight is the WBC final between Team US and Venezuela. We have some ratings coming in on this tournament from Fox, and they are really gaudy, including the semifinal game that was just played between the US and the Dominican. Over 7 million viewers watch this game, and this is the most watched WBC game ever. And it wasn't even a final. It's the most watched WBC game ever. It's 7.369 million viewers. And it's one of the most watched games in the history of FS1 ever. Anything that they've ever put on FS1. So I would think that bodes well for tonight. If 7 million watch the semifinal, I'm thinking they might hit 10 plus here tonight.
What do you think would be bigger, the USA versus Italy on a Cinderella run, or USA versus Venezuela that has a bunch of MLB stars?
I think maybe Italy, because you presumably would have every Italian watching.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're there. Although I'm sure you'll have every Venezuelan watching here tonight. But then beyond that, I think the idea of will Italy beat you and now the U.S. can exact revenge maybe brings a few more viewers.
Right.
But we haven't really seen this. Now, I think it's a very good baseball matchup. I think this is probably the more compelling game.
Right. I think with Italy, you have the little David versus Goliath thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But
this is just probably two good teams.
Right. I mean, you have stars everywhere. You have Acuna of Venezuela, Salvador Perez.
Yeah, this isn't just some random. No, I mean, you got major leaguers up and down Venezuela's roster.
Who do you think is under most pressure tonight for the U.S.? It's got to be Judge.
I think it's DeRosa.
Yeah.
You cannot mismanage this. It has to be managed perfectly. Especially a close game. Yeah, in terms of a player, yeah, I think that's fair on Aaron Judge. Yeah, I mean the real pressure. Also, like again, the starter, who is it? Noel McLean.
Yeah,
I mean that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure on McLean to just do your job and make sure you don't fall behind 3-0 in the first inning.
You feel like it's kind of like a World Series though, Game 7, where he's getting pulled early.
Leash. Yeah.
Like completely. Yeah, it does feel like this is the kind of dirty little secret about this, run so far is, I mean, the last game, Roman Anthony and Gunnar Henderson are both early 20s. They were the ones that hit home runs in that game and put them over the edge. You feel like this is going to be Judge and Harper haven't really destroyed so far in this tournament, and they were the veterans, the guys that were supposed to kind of dominate. I feel like it's kind of on them tonight. Like we're going to look at those two.
But yeah, I mean, you know what it is, dude, though, with baseball, it's like, it could be anyone. Look at Game 7 of the World Series. It could be anyone. Now I'm with you. By and large, you think the stars have a chance to shine on a stage like this. I don't know. I really have no idea what to expect in general. Like, what are you expecting? I would expect the U.S. win. It's in the, what I mean? You would just
they're almost a 3-1 favorite.
I was going to say they're favored to win. So, but I would expect a relatively close game. I wouldn't expect a blowout, which means I'm expecting to see Mason Miller potentially. I'm thinking, here's what I'll say tonight. I'll say 6-3 U.S.
I agree. I think it's going over. It's 8.5.
Is it 8.5?
It's 8.5.
I'll take over on that.
I think it's over. I think there's a little bit of a correction because the U.S. offense wasn't great against the Dominican Republic. And
good point.
And you're coming off extra day. Venezuela threw all their pitchers last night, all their bullpen arms.
Get here.
So you wonder if the U.S. can get to them. I like 6-3.
What was the final last night?
4-2.
4-2. So we haven't had high scoring semifinals. We've had good pitching. Should be good enough pitching here today, but I think there'll be more offense in general. So, I mean, it's going to be a scene. It's going to be a great time. Again, the WBC has been a scene. And
it's been fun to watch.
And it's been captivating, obviously, because you don't get 7 million viewers for Dodgers Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball.
No.
We're not touching that. We're getting
some NBA Finals games have struggled to get 7 million.
That's
viewers.
like an OKC, Indiana. That might be 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. So that's a big, big number. And tonight, if you get to 10, like outside the NFL, there's not a lot getting 10 plus million viewers. So it is a success is the point.
I agree. It's a fun year where you coming off the Olympics, people getting into that patriotism, everything.
Yep.
Then you have the WBC. Then you got the World Cup. Like you kind of have built on back of each other a lot of kind of country versus country dynamics which maybe is playing into that. But I agree with you. It's been fun to see, and the WBC is very evenly distributed. Even though America's the heavy favorite, like Japan, Dominican Republic, this Venezuelan team, you're seeing MLB stars everywhere, and that's fun for the game.
Is there quote unquote fallout if the U.S. doesn't win? How significant is it? A embarrassment?
Yes.
Is it a disaster?
Yes.
You think?
Yeah.
Even in one game. I mean, it would be interesting to see what people. I guess it depends on the game. You blow a 4-0 lead in the 8th inning, that's a debacle. You lose this game 9-1, that's probably a debacle too.
You know why it is, in my opinion, is because this team was mismanaged by DeRosa.
Right.
They got beat by Italy. They almost didn't get in. They had to watch the Italy-Mexico game to get in.
This hasn't been easy. It's not like any of this has been. The semifinal wasn't easy.
Right. So I think against Venezuela, 3-1 favorite on home soil. I think if you lose, it's an absolute embarrassment.
3-1 favorites a lot.
I don't think so. Just because, not if they lose to Venezuela. If
it was
Italy tonight and they lost twice in Italy or not in Italy, against Italy, then yeah, I would be mad. But Venezuela, if you look at their starting lineup, they're stacked. They got Acuna, they got Jackson Churio, they got
Miguel Garcia.
Well, him and the Padres for first baseman.
Arise.
Yeah, they got Arise. They got their whole lineup pretty much from 1 through 9 is all major leaguers. So I don't think there's any shame in losing to Team Venezuela. It's not
in Miami though. You think?
Oh, what you're saying at home?
At home, yeah, at home.
I mean, listen. I mean, it's a must-win game. I'll say that it's a must-win. I mean, here's the thing. Heading into this WBC, I wasn't fully aware of who had won previous WBCs. I remember Ohtani Trout.
Right, that's the only one I remember.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like this is, World
Fraser
Cup
Ali.
championship. Like, everyone knows, like, Brazil has won, I don't know how many, but they've won a number of World Cups. But I'm saying it's just, it's a little different. I mean, in 3 years, am I going to remember if we won or lost this game? Maybe. Depends on what happens here tonight. Sammy, great stuff, man. Appreciate you. All right, we've got Westwood One's coverage of the NCAA tournament on the other side, including the first 4 from Dayton. NCAA tournament is here. We're back tomorrow at 2 p.m. as well with more Annie Halbert on the show tomorrow, right here on San Diego Sports 760. For Sammy Long and Brent Sperry, I'm John Schaefer. NCAA tournament next on San Diego Sports 760.